Alright, section 2.4, number 1. If you watch the intro video, then you understand that all of these problems look similar to quadratic, and we're going to solve all of them by factoring if possible. So make sure you're familiar with how to factor, and this will go a lot more smoothly. Okay, so this is x squared. That's what I see when I look at this. This is my x squared, and then I have 6x, no exponent, and then minus 16. So I'm going to do my factoring process. Number 1, leading coefficient. Number out front is 1 times the last number 16. And then I'm going to write the factors of 16, 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 times 4. The second number has a minus sign, so I want to subtract to get 6. If I subtract 2 and 8, I get 6, so this will factor. So I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses. And then my x term, that's squared, I'm going to split it up, 1 here, 1 here. Basically, you're going to be using this middle term in both, because it might be x to the 4th, so you'll be splitting that up. So whatever powers on the middle term, you're going to put that in both. That's always the process. So z squared minus 2. Z squared minus 2. Z squared minus 2. At the back, you're going to put the numbers you found out that you used, 2 and 8. I'm going to put a 2 and 8. The order doesn't matter. I could have put 8 here and 2 here. It will still work out just fine. Then I go left to right. So my first sign, okay, this is my x. This is my first sign as a plus. Tells me my bigger number. So out of 2 and 8, 8 is bigger. It's going to be a plus. My second sign was minus. That tells me different. So if this is positive, this has to be different. It's going to be minus. Okay, I have factored this problem. I'm now going to set each of these equal to 0. I will simplify going down. So I have z minus 2 and then minus 2 again. So minus 2 and then minus 2 more is going to give me a minus 4. So this is z squared minus 4 and then equal 0. And then over here I have a minus 2 plus 8. When I combine those, I get a 6. So I have z squared plus 6 equals 0. And then I'm going to solve for z. So I'm going to add 4. Z squared equals 4. And then I'm going to take the square root. When you take the square root of a number, you have to do plus or minus. So I get z equals positive or negative 2. So that's 2 different answers. Positive or negative 2. Alright. And then with my other one, I'm going to subtract 6. So I get z squared equals negative 6. We take the square root. And then when you do square root of a number, you got positive or negative. And then over here, we get z equals positive or negative. Now, there's a negative under the square root, so that means imaginary, and 6 is not a perfect square, so we're going to leave it under square root. So 6, square root of 6 is going to be positive or negative I squared of 6. So we get 4 answers. We're going to type them all in separately. Okay, so we get 2 half or negative 2, and then we get I times the square root of 6. I'm going to tab over, or negative I times the square root of 6. I haven't seen that already. And so these are the 4 answers we get from this problem. Okay, you don't have to FOIL that out. I think it's going to make it worse or more work for you if you try to FOIL that out and do it. It's recommended that you do it quadratic. Alright, number 2, going to work it the same way. We have parentheses y minus 3 squared minus 6 y minus 3, and then plus 8. Now, the only way that you could not do this is if these were different. So this has y minus 3 and that was like a y minus 2. You couldn't factor it because that's not the same. And then if the relationship between these exponents is not half or doubled going that way, you wouldn't work it this way. But all of these are like that, so we're going to factor all of them. 1 times 8. Factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. We're going to add to get 6. So I add 2 and 4. And then I'm going to write down 2 sets of parentheses. Again, this term is the same. I'm going to put that in front of both. It's kind of like splitting up the square, 1 here, 1 here. Y minus 3 and y minus 3. That's acting as your x. And then the numbers we use at the back, 2 and 4. 2, 4. First sign is negative. That tells you you're a bigger number. 4 is bigger, so it gets a negative. Second sign is positive. That tells you that that's the same. Positive means same. Negative means different. So since that's positive, these are going to have the same sign. If that one's negative, this one also has to be negative. Okay? It is factored. We're going to simplify, set them equal to 0, and solve. So I have negative 3 minus 2. That's going to give me a negative 5. So I have y minus 5 equals 0. And then over here, negative 3 minus 4 gives me y minus 7 equals 0. We add 5, we get y equals 5. And then we add 7, that gives us y equals 7.